The Pension Board's United Church of Christ, PBUCC, is often asked to invest in or divest from certain companies to support or promote various social justice activities of the church. Our one-sentence response as annuity plan fiduciaries is there are certain things the pension boards can and cannot do. A church plan, such as the annuity plan for the United Church of Christ, may reasonably adopt investment policy that includes appropriate, socially responsible investment provisions. To the extent that a church plan can faithfully satisfy its fiduciary duty of loyalty to the plan participants and further the social witness objectives of the church without sacrificing plan participants' economic interest, it may do so. Church plans, including the annuity plan, which PBUCC administers as trustees of the Annuity Fund Trust on behalf of the benefit for members and beneficiaries of the annuity plan, have traditionally engaged in shareholder activism through proxy voting, engaging in dialogue with corporate management, and other forms of socially responsible advocacy. In addition, many church plans, including the annuity plan, have investment policies that include screens that instruct the plan's investment advisors to avoid investing in specific industries or companies that profit from doing business in activities such as gambling, alcohol, and tobacco, the so-called sin stocks. Such policies are permissible for a church plan if the investment policy permits exceptions to the screens when and where the advisor believes that the plan participants' economic interests will be harmed if the prohibition is not lifted. Corporate engagement is an accepted practice for shareholders. Proxy voting is a fiduciary act. Proxy voting should be exercised in a fashion that promotes the best interests of the corporation and benefits the investments of the plan assets. Many good governance proposals meet such a standard. Issues such as the independence and expertise of candidates for a corporation's board of directors to ensure that the board can carry out its responsibility to monitor management, matters such as the appropriateness of executive compensation, a corporation's policy regarding mergers and acquisitions, the extent of debt financing and capitalization, the nature of long-term business plans, a corporation's investment in training to develop its workforce, and other workplace practices, and financial and non-financial measures of corporate performance are all acceptable. It must be noted that most assets held by PBUCC are not church assets. They are funds held by PBUCC in express or implied trust for the payment of benefits, retirement, health, etc., to employees and retirees. These benefits were promised to ministers and lay church workers in exchange for their service and represent promised and earned compensation. PBUCC's duty as fiduciary of the annuity plan is to act for the sole and exclusive benefit of plan members. The pension boards cannot place the church's interests in promoting social justice activities above its duty to annuity plan members. In addition, the Ministerial Assistance Fund held by the pension boards are restricted for specific uses by the donors. Ministerial assistance is subject to comparable fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of its beneficiaries and consistent with the intention of the donors. The pension boards cannot delegate its fiduciary responsibility to the church. While PBUCC intends to support and cooperate with the social justice activities of the church, decisions with respect to the management and investment of PBUCC assets can only be made by the pension board's trustees and directors and cannot be directed by General Synod. The pension board's current policy on this matter and our recommendation to General Synod is The General Synod acknowledges that certain assets of the United Church of Christ organizations are held in trust for specific uses, and that the use of those assets in furtherance of social witness activities of the Church is subject to the proper exercise of the fiduciary duty of the directors and trustees of those funds. For example, the pension boards of the United Church of Christ holds and invests retirement and health and welfare assets for ministers and church workers, and it can only make investment and divestment decisions that are the sole and exclusive benefit of plan members. Consistent with their fiduciary obligations, the pension boards, ministerial assistants, and other such corporations have expressed their commitment to support social justice policies insofar as legally possible. Social and political goals can never be allowed to trump the fundamental prudent investor rule with regard to investment soundness and return. Likewise, to prescribe certain investments or certain classes of investments for political or social reasons without having first looked at their safety and return in comparison to other investments is to place an inappropriate and irrelevant consideration ahead of the trustee's primary responsibilities with respect to determining prudent investments for the plan assets. Such exclusions would amount to a breach of trust in that trustees would have placed theirs or someone else's political and social interests ahead of their fiduciary obligations to the retirement interests of the plan participants and beneficiaries. Investing, refraining from investing, or divesting in response to such proscription without determining the economic impact on the portfolio would be inappropriate.